Good morning, good morning. Okay, we've got another tarot reading. Use your discernment. If it came across your feed, most likely it's for you, but remember it's a general reading. So take the bits that resonate and leave the rest. I felt called to sit down and pull some tarot, but I was being told that I have been tapping into two collectives recently when it comes to the divine union journey and your journey in relationships. We're talking romantic relationships. I may tap into more collectives and more segues. I don't know, but I've been tapping into two separate ones. And I was told to come here and explain the two collectives, and then we'll pull some tarot. We might be pulling tarot for one or the other or both. I don't know. We'll find out together, and I'll clarify in the title so that if you click on this, it's for you. Two collectives when it comes to divine union. One collective, we're talking about you being connected to somebody who you are unable to let go of, regardless of how many cord cutting meditations, regardless of how much work you do on yourself, regardless of how much up leveling, regardless of how much introspection, you know what I mean. You are unable to let this person go. And you are somebody that does the work. You are somebody who is self-accountable. You are somebody who understands when you are attached to somebody, and that attachment is trying to teach you something about yourself, so then you can learn something about yourself, up level, and let that person go with love and light. You are somebody who understands this, that people are a reflection of you. Yes? So you understand when it's time to walk away. You understand when it's time to learn the lesson and move on. However, I'm talking collective A. Let's call you collective A. You have been unable to let this person go. And you being unable to let this person go has been for a reason, because you're not supposed to let this person go. And that's a bit of a struggle for you, a concept that you struggle with, because you have this feeling that maybe I just haven't learned the lesson that I'm supposed to learn. What is the lesson that I'm supposed to learn? Because if I'm unable to let this go, does that mean that there's something still toxic in me? Is there something that I still need to work on? This is a new concept for you, because you've let so many people go in your past, and you've learned so many lessons in the past, and then you've been kind of upgraded, that not being able to let this person go, even though you've taken on the lessons that you thought you had to learn by this person, you're unable to let them go. You feel almost guilty and ashamed for holding on to this person. But Spirit with Collective A wants to reassure you, and I did a reading about this, that if you're unable to let this person go, it's for a reason. And this is a new chapter for you. This is a new lesson in itself. It's a lesson around softening your heart. It's a lesson around being vulnerable enough with yourself, not with this person, with yourself, to allow yourself to feel love for somebody, to allow yourself to continue to feel like you're holding on to somebody, to allow yourself to continue to expand in your capacity to receive, to allow yourself to continue to expand in what you want out of a divine union connection. And your attachment, I don't like using the word attachment, your connection to this person and being unable to let that go is teaching you a lot about what you do want. Yes, that's collective A. Collective B, we are talking about a collective that is attached to somebody who is avoidant in nature, and somebody who is meant to be let go of. Okay? And you will know that collective B is where you sit, because you will have recently been feeling rage and a sort of finality when it comes to I don't want my future to be this. I can see the future with this person who is avoidant in nature, and I don't want it to be this. And you are getting to a point where you're feeling the rage, you're feeling the frustration, you feel like you keep banging your head against the wall. Like it's just a dead end after dead end after dead end when it comes to this person. And that's for a reason. You were meant to get to this point of I'm done. Because when you get to this point of I'm done, you recognize what you're no longer open for, what you're no longer available for, and then you can get clarity on where you're going, on the type of connection that you actually are calling in. So collective A, it's about soothing the guilt and the shame and the pressure that you're putting on yourself to, fuck, I should have let this person go already. And it's a reassurance from spirit of, this is why you haven't been able to let them go, and it's actually meant to be designed that way, guys. And then collective B, it's saying you know it's time to let this person go. So I feel like I'm being called to explain, because I've done readings tapping into A and tapping into B without being explicit about I'm tapping into different collectives. And yes, there is a huge responsibility on you here. Okay, there's always a responsibility on you to use your discernment. And Spirit wants you to know, and Spirit worked with me on this for the past, 2026? For the past 2.5 years, my biggest lesson has been to feel and not to think. Okay? And it's a very hard lesson to learn. But if I can pass that on to you and say, you have to feel what feels right in your body. Not what your ego wants to feel right, because maybe you are in collective B, but you really, really, you're so attached to this person, your ego's so attached to this person, and there's still lessons that you need to learn by letting this avoidant person go. But you want so badly to be in collective A, so you're trying to make it fit, and you taint the feeling, because it's actually a feeling born out of attachment and not out of truth. I'm not saying this is easy, and I'm not here to, shame you or to put more pressure on you. I'm here as guided by Spirit to help you, to guide you. That's the whole point of this channel. But being in collective A also has its challenges, right? You have to be able to trust the feeling, no matter how vulnerable it feels, because it feels super vulnerable to continue to hold on to somebody that is not showing up how they should be, or how you want them to, or how you know they can, right? It's very vulnerable to continue to keep your heart open to somebody when you can't see into the future, when you don't understand why you're still holding on to them. It's a vulnerable task, right? But for collective A, that's what you're being asked to do, to keep your heart open. Collective B, you're being asked to let go. Let's use the cards. Massive message around discernment, massive message around, can you sit quietly with you? And can you have a chat to yourself, have a chat with Spirit, breathe, deep breathing, get a paper and a pen, and ask questions around this situation. Ask for guidance. You will feel it if you're in collective A or collective B. You will know, you always know what to do. You do. We all know what to do individually. The only way that, oh my gosh, it's stuck to my counter. Maybe we have to take it. The only way that you get to the answer of what do I need to do is, well, not the only way, but for most people, it's getting quiet. Getting quiet and be open to whatever the response that comes through is. Okay, let's pull some cards. It's the card that was stuck to the countertop. It just flew out again. 7 of Pentacles. I feel like this is, because this card is taking a step back and looking at all your hard work, right? It's that kind of energy. I feel like this is just what I'm trying to convey to you, is take a step back, get quiet, and look at all the work that you've done on yourself. Look at all the lessons that you've learned. Maybe look at your history with this person, because we are talking about a connection here. And sit in stillness and get that piece of pen and paper and start asking questions. Have a conversation with spirit, have a conversation with yourself. Start asking questions. What am I being guided to do? And be open. If you're pushing the answer, oh, I'm meant to hold on to this person, but you're actually in collective A and spirit's trying to say, it's time to let them go, honey. Okay, be open. Be vulnerable. It's vulnerable to let somebody go, and it's vulnerable to hold on to somebody. They're both vulnerable feelings, right? Okay. 3 of Wands in reverse, which I just showed you. 10 of Cups and Page of Cups. Whoop. There's a bit of glare. It's okay. I understand. Okay. So Spirit is saying, take this moment to meditate, to get quiet, to have a chat to Spirit, to get clear on which collective you sit in, and don't move. Don't take action. Don't do anything. Don't reach out. Don't. Okay? This 10 of Cups energy and Page of Cups energy, this is somebody coming forward to you with an offer, okay? With an emotional offer, with vulnerability of their own, yeah? Explaining how they feel about you. And this is how they feel about you, wanting this family life, this happily ever after, this love, this dedicated love, I just heard. Committed, I also heard. Prioritized, okay? Now, depending on whether you're in collective A or collective B, your non-action here, regardless of which, I said depending, regardless of which collective you're in, non-action right now is advised, as in not taking action in the physical world. You are being advised to sit in stillness and discern about your situation and where to bucket this person, so then you can allow your feelings to flow, whether you need to learn the lesson and let the person go, or whether you need to surrender to the vulnerableness of continuing to hold on to this person. But no action in the physical world. No messaging, no moving towards them, no. This is coming for you regardless of which collective you're in, yeah? This is coming for you when you allow yourself to be vulnerable enough, to open your heart enough, to allow yourself to sit in whichever collective you're being called to sit in. If you're in collective A, you're being asked to open your heart and surrender to the vulnerable feeling of continuing to hold on to someone and continuing to hold hope, love for that person. If you're in collective B, you're being asked to do the vulnerable thing of letting this person go and opening yourself up for more, to raise your expectations, yeah? And this is coming in for both collectives. I think that's why I was called to explain the difference between the two and to combine them, because this reading is for both of you. That the end goal is the same, and it's coming to you, to both of these collectives. You're not being asked to take action in the physical world. You're being asked to take action, mind, body, spirit. Yeah? I'm being told to say, oftentimes we hear what we want to hear because the truth is harder to hear. We know this, right? If you're listening to me and if you've recently found my channel and you've been watching my videos, I don't think you would make it through to the end of my videos if you weren't the kind of person to understand that we know that our ego has a tendency to love to hear what we want to hear, but we know that the harder one to hear is the truth, but we'd rather get to the truth so then we can continue on to where we're supposed to be. If you are listening to me, you're the kind of person that understands alignment, understands that there is a destined path, and you want to get to your destined path, and you want to learn the lessons that you have to learn. So I'm told that's why we had to combine the collectives, so that you understand what your truth is, not what you want to hear. I see there are a lot of tarot readers. I love watching tarot readings myself. There are a lot of tarot readers that make big proclamations. You know, they tell you things that are beautiful, and you know you really want to feel that they're true, but there's a part of you that resists. You know, that's also telling you something. I think a lot of these tarot readings are founded in truth, and a lot of them are meant for specific groups of people, but I think a lot of them do come from ego and from giving the people what they want, but giving the people what their egos want, okay? And I made this channel, and my mission on this channel is not to sugarcoat anything for you. So when I say things that, you know, there's an attachment here still with this person that's maybe done you wrong, that maybe didn't show up for you or whatever, I do struggle with that because I want the best for you. I don't want to give you false hope. I don't want to feed your delusions. I don't want you to settle for less than you deserve. I want you to grow. I want you to get onto your aligned path. I want you to ascend, right? I don't want you to feed into your own bullshit of your own ego and your own attachments and your own woundings, right? So when I deliver these messages, there's a lot of care and consideration that's gone into them, and I do argue with spirit. So just keep that, and maybe combine that with the lesson that I've been shown to learn these past 2.5 years, which is feel, don't think. And sometimes it will conflict with, how do I explain this, spirit? Sometimes you will think that you're feeding your delusion and that you're just appeasing your ego, but it's actually true. And sometimes it's the opposite, which is why we have the two collectives here. And you need to figure out which one you are. Not by thinking, by stillness, by breathing. Am I doing this from a place of ego, or am I being asked to do this from a place of truth? Only you will know. King of Cups flew out. Can I just point out something that they're pointing out to me? When I woke up this morning, it was, and I think it still kind of is, not that much, but I don't know if I was in a cloud or it was just fog. I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's not like that early. I couldn't see out of the window, like I couldn't, just fog, just cloud, whatever it was. And that's not normal in Sydney. That's not a thing. That doesn't happen. So I feel like this message is about clearing the fog in you as to, you know, which one am I? So I know what to do and what I need to learn, and whether I need to just relax and receive and be more vulnerable, or whether I need to be more vulnerable but learn the lesson and keep going. Do you know what I mean? This King of Cups energy is a masculine energy in his seat of emotional maturity, in a vulnerable, open heart state. But I'm not feeling him as a masculine energy. I feel this card is representative of you reaching that royal seat of emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, and just heart open, vulnerable state of saying, I choose truth. Every time I choose truth. I don't care how hard it is to listen to. I don't care how hard it is to deal with. I choose truth. That's where you're sitting. That's why you're here. I'm just asking, but I realize I have to grab the microphone. A message for the people. What can they do other than sitting in stillness and deciphering which one they are? Any last words of wisdom, and then we'll close. Interesting. We have the Queen of Wands. Very black cat energy. We have the Empress. So we had our masculine, now we have our feminine, the Empress energy. Again, very royal. All of these are sitting very royal, very still. Even though Queen of Wands is about action, in this deck, she's very still and stern. And then our final card for today is the Sun. Okay. Our final card is to say, everything is happening for you. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter who you're connected to, it doesn't matter what experience you're going through, bad, good. Everything is happening for you, for your evolution, for your betterment. The Queen of Wands and the Empress is telling me, and the King of Cups, which came out just before those two, it's telling me that I'm speaking to both masculine and feminines. And it's telling me that this is you. You are royalty when it comes to the spiritual scale. I heard scale. I don't know if that even makes sense. You have been through it, okay? And your obsession, I'm just telling you what I hear. Your obsession with truth has gotten you to these seats of power within you, right? This exercise of discerning is here for you, okay? And Spirit wants you to remember how powerful you are. Wants you to remember how much emotional work you've done to be able to sit in this seat of emotional maturity and discernment and vulnerability, and just allowing yourself to open your heart to yourself. Yes, to other people, but to be so open and honest with yourself, because you're so obsessed with getting to the truth. Spirit wants to remind you, don't forget how powerful that is. Don't forget how powerful you are. Don't forget how much you can trust yourself. Trust your feelings. Yes? The Queen of Wands and the Empress, they came out together, again, to remind you how powerful you are. All the action that you've taken in the world from this seat of I heard beautiful divine femininity, but not gender specific. Which tells me, regardless if you're a man, woman, you've taken action in life as a product of opening your heart and being obsessed with the truth. You've taken such aligned action from a nurturing part of you, from a part that nurtures this King of Cups energy that you've developed within yourself. And it's allowed you to reach royalty, royal status, where you are in this embodied state, this completion energy, mind, body, spirit energy. Spirit wants to remind you, I'm going to say it again, how powerful you are. And that is to remind you how much you can trust yourself. When you sit down with spirit, with yourself, and take a look, take stock of everything you've done, everything you've been through with this person, and you get guidance and you get clarity on where you stand and where you're going and how to feel about the situation so that you can settle in your feelings and trust those feelings. Spirit wants to remind you that you are very powerful. And even if you're hearing something that you're not used to hearing, or you're being asked to look at the situation in a way that you're not used to looking at situations, you can trust yourself. You can trust what you're hearing because you're royalty. Okay? There's no doubt about that. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. We love you long time, and we hope you have a great day.